Hey guys, my name is Gary Bravo. Welcome back to my channel. There is no intro, so don't ask. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, and it looks like the news is going to be off Kanye for a little bit. So this should give me a chance to just get this out there before he does some other absolutely wild, insane bullshit. Kanye has been a bit of a sore spot for me the past few years. I used to be a really big fan of his. I put in hours and hours of listening to his music, but I took a step back after he started up with his Trump fandom. The 2016 election was really polarizing, and to see someone I look up to like Kanye pick the conservative side like that, it just really put me off. So ever since then, I've been a little bit more conscious and a little bit more careful about the art that I consume. For me, when he started with his political stuff, it went way beyond what I'd ever expected from him as a fan. So I think now, having my perspective of being such a big fan of his could give a unique perspective. So I wanted to share some of my feelings on how he's been behaving more recently. And before you go doubting me, I was on that Ye shit big time. Top 5% Spotify fan. I knew all the albums, I knew all the hits, and I even bought a few of his albums. I actually was a bona fide Kanye fan, so miss me with that fake fan shit. Kanye for me was always sort of eccentric, obviously, and I thought that that was a big factor of why I was such a big fan of his. But to me, deep down, I always kind of sort of just assumed that it was an act. And now that the sun has set on my fandom, I mostly just view him as a menace. I'm also aware that he has stated that he is bipolar, and I'm taking that into account with all of this. But unfortunately, there are millions of people who are mentally ill, and it does not give you an excuse to do whatever you want and face no consequences for your actions. I am specifically speaking now about his actions towards his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, and her new boyfriend, Pete Davidson. First things first, I want to say this. I don't actually care about any of the people involved in this story. I dislike Kim and the whole Kardashian clan. I think they have caused an immeasurable amount of harm to society by perpetuating their brand of body image and lifestyle that is impossible to live up to without fame and fortune. I mean, that family has caused so much damage to young women's self-esteem.
How much damage?
How much damage? They've caused so much damage. They might as well be the U.S. Navy in Honolulu. You know the U.S. Navy, how they dumped 25 million gallons worth of jet fuel into a freshwater aquifer in Honolulu, poisoning it forever, and then tried to lie about it until eventually being caught and then trying to put out PR to reduce the backlash from the public. Yeah, the Kardashians kind of remind me of that. And as far as Pete goes, I've never been a big fan of SNL, and I haven't seen a lot of his stand-up, so I could not consider myself a fan of his. To be totally honest, Pete kind of seems like a guy who just min-maxed his luck stat in a Souls game, and now in any opportunity faced with challenge, he just one-hit strikes anything that gets in his way. I wanted to get this straight off the bat because people seem to think that when you criticize Kanye for the things that he does, you automatically are in a position to defend the people that he's against, and that is not true because of this thing called nuance. Nuance allows you to think and perceive things in more than one or two dimensions. In fact, it allows you to perceive things in a potentially infinite number of directions. People with terminally logged on brains seem to think this. So just in case this video finds its way to someone who thinks that I'm defending a billionaire capitalist or the human toothpick, can take that opinion and shove it immediately. Kanye has been berating Kim and Pete all over social media for weeks now and has taken it way too far. He is projecting his own feelings of pain and insecurity onto his ex-wife and her new boyfriend as a way for him to make himself feel better. In other words, he is lashing out. People lash out for a lot of reasons. It's a pretty normal reaction to trauma if you have been subjected to trauma over your life. So this reaction of his is understandable. The problem arises from Kanye's relentless barrage of hate toward all parties involved and the amplification of his feelings through his activated and insane fan base. And obviously, not all Kanye fans are insane, but he is weaponizing these people in his corner to create as much damage to his personal relationships as he possibly is able to conflict. People like this are not okay, and they should not be encouraged under any circumstances. People like this need help. But because Kanye is who he is, he can use his fans as justification to continue his crusade to brutally harass his ex-wife. Kanye has attempted to get Pete fired from his job. He's attempted to get Pete's co-host to quit and leave him alone in his bit. He's encouraged his fans to outright harass him in public and has made numerous violent threats against his personal safety. Now, if you heard what I just said, and you think Kanye is allowed to do this because he's just a man protecting his family, turn off this video right now because you need to touch grass. Responds to what? Any man or person who responds to relationship breakdowns with threats of violence and harassment is showing you who they really are. They're showing you their true self, and that true self is abusive trash. His hate towards Kim has been even worse. I can't imagine what it must be like to share custody with someone like this. It must be a living nightmare. People like to joke about how he bought a house right next to hers after the split, and how he used his connections to get the address to a private party that he wasn't invited to as justification for his side of the story. They all just say that he's just a man fighting for his family. But people really, they don't seem to realize that this situation is abusive. Kim is more than just a celebrity in this situation. She's more than just that person that you see on the TV, you know? She's his ex-wife. She's the mother of their children. This means Kanye isn't protecting his family. In fact, he's harassing his family. He's abusing his family. He's quite literally abusing his domestic partner. He is openly sharing communications between them that are meant to be private. He's trying to gaslight her into thinking that she's in the wrong, and he's berating her to try to get his way. He is openly committing domestic abuse in public and is getting what I think is a shocking amount of public support from it. It honestly makes me fucking sick. Seeing some of the people defend him this way, it makes me want to take a step back from the internet and shower. It makes me feel dirty. But in reality, the people who are defending Kanye need to take a step back, and they need to try to find some perspective. Domestic abuse is serious, and it's nothing to trivialize. There are up to 3 million incidences of domestic abuse reported in the US per year. And if you have someone in your family who's been abused by a domestic partner, you know that this type of trauma, it sticks. And it takes a lot of time to feel okay and to feel normal again. And at the end of the day, after the fame is stripped away and the dollars are sorted out, what people are cheering on here is an ex-husband openly abusing his ex-wife in public. Is that really something to be happy about? Is that really something you should be able to pick a side on? I don't think so. This isn't internet drama. Obviously it fucking is because people are insane. But perspective is important in these situations because domestic abuse is not funny. Domestic abuse is not a joke. Domestic abuse is serious. The reason I'm using the words that I'm using specifically is because I don't mean to pull punches, especially on topics like this. When people normalize this type of abuse, it creates danger for people who are in those situations already. And it can make it worse. I know it's funny, or it's funny to some people, but this is someone's mom, someone's daughter. Just try to have a little bit of empathy in this situation. The point of this video is that people's actions matter, and actions of people, especially people in the public light, they affect more than just the people making the action. How would you feel if your daughter or sister or mom was being abused in public like this? If you need to ask yourself this, please do. But then go ahead and post cringe anyway, honestly. Because if you feel the need to ask yourself that in a situation like this, you obviously have something fucked up in your brain that doesn't allow you to process empathy. Please, please. If you need to see yourself in every situation to feel empathetic about it, get help. Just think first. Try to be a little bit more kind. Please, I'm begging you. And also, if you're interested in learning more about domestic abuse, go ahead and Google 40% of police. Google it. Google 40% of police. Just go ahead, punch that into Google. Let me know what you find. And get help wherever you can find it. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe. Drop a like. Drop a comment. If you feel so inclined. And thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. See you next time.